beautiful baby. Look at this creation. Now, as we talk about the disciples, I don't want you to forget about all that God had made for us. Oh, little baby. Thank you, Mama, for letting me see your baby. Yeah. Amen. Now, I know that we have already talked about 4 disciples. I'm going to introduce you all to the 5th disciple, and his name is Philip. And that's a name that you all use often now these days, isn't it? So that's not a hard name at all. Now, Philip was 27 years old when Jesus called him. And here's the thing. He met Jesus and the other 4 disciples when they were on their way from coming to see John the Baptist. And so he hadn't really encountered Jesus just yet, but he knew that everybody was kind of gathering and following Jesus. So he said, I will too. Now, Philip's job when he worked with Jesus is the funniest thing. He was such a good steward. He could count and keep up with things. So he kept up with the supplies, made sure they didn't run out of food or anything like that. And when the supplies did get low, do you know he was one of the ones that helped to commandeer some of the food and make sure everyone was fed. Now, Philip was from Bethsaida, which is kind of a little ways in the same area where the other apostles were from. But here's the thing, when Jesus passed, do you know he continued on into Samaria, praising God and letting them know that Jesus is real. So he stayed in the Samaria area. That's where he stayed until, of course, you know, he was martyred as well. Because after a while, they were like, who is this guy that keeps talking about this Jesus? We thought we killed him. But Philip kept teaching about it. But now, Philip was also good friends with our next apostle. Now, our next apostle, he has 2 names. And here's the thing. You'll see him either being called Bartholomew, and some said, well, that was his father's name. So why would they call him Bartholomew? But then he's also known as Nathaniel. Okay, and that's a name you hear a lot of people use. Now, Nathaniel's job was a very important one. He took care of all the families of the disciples. So during the time that the disciples were traveling to and fro, back and front, he was the one that took care of them. So sometimes you wouldn't hear about him in the story because he was off going and tending to the disciples' family. Now, he was the next to the oldest because he had 7 siblings. And I forgot, Philip was the baby of the family. And he came and followed Jesus even though he had 2 sickly parents. Over here, 7 siblings. And he was next to the oldest. And he said, well, you know, I'm going to go anyway. Dealing with the apostles did not bother him because he was used to being with a crowd. And here's the thing about Bartholomew or Nathaniel. Bless his little heart. He was that one person, and y'all know, y'all had that one person in class that asked the obvious question, and you go, oh my Jesus, did he not know that answer? Well, this was our friend right here. His 2 and 2 didn't always match up the 4. He needed help putting it together. But because he took care of the family so well, his compassion and his heart, Jesus loved him so. Now, when Jesus passed, do you know where he went?
Goldfish.
He went over into Mesopotamia. And you're probably saying, what? India. For those of you all who are trying to figure out where that is, he went and spread the gospel over in India. So if you're ever wondering if our brothers and sisters over there know about Jesus, yes, they do. So who do we have? Philip, 27. He was brought in by his friend Bartholomew or Nathaniel. You like the Nathaniel name? He would answer to either one of those names, okay? So remember, he kept a good steward over our supplies and made sure the disciples weren't hungry and going without. And he took care of the family while the disciples traveled here and forth with Jesus. Thank you all for visiting us today. We appreciate it. I know that you're busy. I know supplies might be getting low, so I'm going to need you to go tend to that. And I believe the families are okay, but I think Jesus had a word for you. So I'll let you go and see what the Master has for you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, friends here, understand that as we are looking at the disciples, that's the 5th and 6th disciple. We got 6 more to go. And the stories get better and better. Don't forget what I've shared with you all about the first 2 and the 2nd and the 4th ones, okay? Keep that in mind. I'm going to go back to my shopping. I have a few more fruits and vegetables I need to gain for my basket. You know what I'm going to do with this? We're having a feast later on today. Now, I know today y'all are celebrating, is it Father's Day? Well, we're not quite doing that. This is a different type of feast we're having today. And it's mainly of fruits and vegetables. We won't be having any meat because sometimes in our household, we didn't have meat with every meal like I hear you all do. Okay? So you all take care and have a blessed day.